Welcome everyone to the Side Draft Podcast in our weekly Why Fans Love Their Driver. This week we are recording our Denny Hamlin episode, and a few weeks ago we asked fans why they love Denny Hamlin, and here's some of their responses.
Floral Caribou 48 says, I love his personality. His humor makes me laugh. He's misunderstood and an introvert like me. He seems like such a cool dude once you get to know him. He has a lot of talent, not to mention he's super handsome. Hope he gets this championship soon. And it says hashtag Hamlin fan forever.
And it seems like a lot of fans want that driver that seems a little bit like them. You know, they mentioned he's an introvert like they are, and it seems like some fans, the younger fans, they like younger drivers, or some guys that seem like they would connect better with them. So I think that's where they're going with this.
Oh yeah, and a lot of times the driver's personality don't shine out. With the social media or on TV or anything, they can't really. I mean, because they're in combat mode, more to say, because they're in competition with each other, so they got to have a little edge when they're at the racetracks, and sometimes you may not see that, and that's kind of what we're bringing with these videos and these little about why fans love their drivers. So we want to bring out, kind of see where their personalities are, and kind of get to know the drivers a little better, and the fans. I mean, that's pretty cool getting to hear all these comments and stuff.
Yeah, and Denny Hamlin was one of the main reasons why we went with this idea, because he has this Twitterology, I guess you could say. Yeah. Don't reply to negative comments. Give the positive guys some stage light. We're trying to get some positivity going in Twitter, talking nice about some drivers. We see a lot of times, it's like, we look back at Martinsville last year of Denny Hamlin, all those Chase fans, and you just want to put in some positivity from NASCAR. Seen a lot of negativity this year, but hopefully we can do just that. And our next comment here is from Bubba. No, not Bubba Wallace. But he says, because he delivers my packages, LOL.
He's probably just joking a little bit right there, but it is true. They associate the sponsor with the driver sometimes, and it's really good that FedEx has been with him his whole Cup career.
Yeah, and you hear a lot of kids saying they like Kyle Busch because of the M&Ms, Jimmy McMurray because of McDonald's. I think it's the same for Denny and FedEx, because FedEx has been so dedicated to Denny. Denny's been so dedicated to FedEx, and they've just been with each other for a long time. And
yeah, it's really good that FedEx would stick with him all them years. I mean, it's just really good for that. It's not usually. I mean, some drivers have the same sponsors all through the years, but there's very few that have that same sponsor most of their career.
And the next one is from Mickey. He says, I used to work for Denny. I can tell you the love of his family, especially his mom and dad, are beyond reproach. Knowing the sacrifices they did for him to follow his dream of racing, he went above and beyond to make sure they will have a life any parent could dream of.
Yeah, that's really true. You see a lot of parents, they'll do anything for the kids to make them successful. Some of them even go out and put a second mortgage on their house, and they're gambling their house on their son or daughter, maybe make it in racing or whatever they want to support their kids doing. It was really good. Denny's family did that, and made him real successful, and I'm glad he made it.
Yeah, it looks like it paid off for him. Daytona 500 winner, and he's made it with a great team, Joe Gibbs, and possibly getting that championship someday. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but you can always thank the people who helped you get there, even if you don't make it. But in Denny's case, he thankfully made it. Next comment is from Peggy. It says, I've been a fan since his first year of Joe Gibbs. At first, it was his driving style and tenacity to win. Once I knew his personal story, his family, and met him personally, I knew I made the correct decision. His team is one of the best in the business. He's a seasoned driver with so much knowledge of the sport. New fans should consider him because he is a leader in the Joe Gibbs organization.
That's really good. Once again, everybody's talking about his family and his personal story, and it really, I hadn't never got to meet him before. A lot of people, has met him, say he's really nice, and he's got a good personality. So that's really good to hear about.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting of how these fans, have these different experiences. We saw like in Brad's, some fans go to Brad events, and Brad's like super nice to them, so they started to be Brad fans. Yeah. Meet Denny, and you want to be a Denny fan because he's nice to you. I think that's how the relationship between driver and fan really connects.
Yeah, I think that's what. That's something I like, about doing these little series, just getting to learn more about the fans and the drivers, and just seeing that interaction. I think that's what really drives the sport, is the interaction with the drivers, and if you're a young kid and you meet one of the drivers, it makes you want to go out there and race and then try to follow in their footsteps. So that's really good to hear from the drivers.
And this last one here is from Janet. It says, I wrote this already, but didn't see it on the comments. But it seemed like some people have the same reasons. I have 3 reasons that compound. One was I was a Dale Jarrett fan until he retired and wanted to stay with the Joe Gibbs driver because he's a great Christian man he was. I wanted a driver who was from my home state, and since Richmond is only 2.5 hours from me, I chose Denny. 3, Denny and Dale both drive for the coach, Joe Gibbs. So voila, Denny it was and still is.
That's really good that, even like the old drivers, I didn't say old driver, but the older drivers like Dale Jarrett, once they retire, step away, and a new driver comes in, and it's good that people want to stay with them teams. And and the coach, he always proclaims he's a Christian, and he wants to show it outward, and that's really good.
Yeah, and I also found it really interesting that 2 or 3 people said that they were fans of Dale Jarrett, and they saw a lot of Dale Jarrett and Denny Hamlin. So I think that's really interesting. They didn't really ever say why, but I wonder why that is.
I don't know. I know Dale Jarrett, he just go out there and give it his all, and I know Denny, he gives it his all, and sometimes you think Denny's out of the race, and all of a sudden he's leading, and he goes off and wins it, and so he never gives up.
Saw that happen at Darlington last year. Missed the pit entry. He's like, oh, it's over now. Truex has got this, and then Denny Hamlin goes out and wins the race. So I can see, a little bit of Dale Jarrett and Denny Hamlin.
Oh yeah.
So that was this week's Why Fans Love Denny Hamlin.
And we want to say the comments. We appreciate everyone's comments, and we really enjoyed hearing from everyone. And we got these from the Facebook.
Yeah, Joe Gibbs Racing Facebook. So if you want to check that group out, if you're a Denny Hamlin fan or anyone a part of Joe Gibbs and you just want to go in there and talk about your drivers, there's a link down below so you can join it. And we'll be doing the other members of Joe Gibbs on that Facebook group later on. So be looking forward to that. And next week, we have a very special edition of Why Fans Love Their Driver. We're doing a Hall of Fame edition, and it's going to be Davey Allison. So that one's going to be a huge video there.
Wow, it's going to be... I'm excited. I'm nervous at the same time because Davey Allison is a huge Hall of Famer. It's a big deal. So y'all just stay tuned in.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that. Hope you all enjoy your week. Also, enjoy some road course racing at Watkins Glen. It's going to be an amazing race, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So,
and Denny might be a favorite for that one, too.
Who knows? It might be the first time we do like the why fans love the driver, then he goes on to win, So, who knows? We'll see you next week for Davey Allison, so stay tuned.